Sometimes you'll just wake up feeling depressed and anxious, out of sorts, particularly after this current Christmas period we've had. For no apparent reason, you'll wake up with no energy, a low mood, feeling restless, irritable, discontent, anxious, like I say. You won't be able to put your finger on why. If you're newly sober, you might be getting horrendous cravings around your addictions, whether it be to drug or alcohol. So you need to change the way you feel. For me, it's a case of forcing myself to do certain things, and I'm going to share some tips with you now, which I know will change the way that you feel. First of all, if you find my videos helpful in any way, and you'd like to give me a little support, please click in the description on the Ko-fi link. It really is appreciated. So these tips, and you really do have to force yourselves. It's a case, all right, people say about discipline, but if you want to change the way you feel, because if you are not spiral down into this morbid feeling of depression and discontent, because it will get worse throughout the day if you don't do something about it, and it could lead to some horrendous places. First thing I do is force myself out of bed, and sometimes you really have to do that, and that's okay, because many people have to do that in the morning. As long as you don't lie there and wallow in the feelings that you're having, you force yourself to get out of bed. Next, I have to force myself to make my bed. It's the first task of the day and sets me on my path, if you like, to keep doing little things throughout the day, which I know will change the way I feel and change my mood. The next thing I do is I force myself to have a cold shower. Now, not everyone's cup of tea, but science tells us that not only is it brilliant for our immune systems and body, it raises dramatically our dopamine levels, and it keeps them at that higher level for a much longer time than anything else. So even if you just have 30 seconds of cold and warm again, 30 seconds of cold, warm again, it's doing you an amazing amount of good. But what it also is doing is pushing you ahead with some discipline. You're doing something that's uncomfortable, and you've accomplished that, and there's a sense of achievement in that each day. The next thing I do is force myself to have a healthy breakfast, because I know that a good, whether it be a smoothie or oats or with fruit and something with plenty of nutrition in it, I know it's going to change the way I feel. And supplementation, you know, the various supplements I take, like my B vitamins and my cod liver oil and stuff, I know which is good for my mental health. These are all daily disciplines. The next thing I do is force myself to journal my feelings. So I empty all those shitty thoughts that are in my head onto a piece of paper. And you'll be amazed at what that does for you and the relief that gives you. And also, while I'm doing that, I set myself a couple of small goals for the day. There's nothing that gives you a greater sense of achievement and a boost than just accomplishing a couple of small goals. The next thing I do, if I have the time, and I'll always find the time at some point in the day, is do what I'm doing now. Get out. If we're lucky enough to have a sunny day like today, but even if it's not sunny, I'll get out into the fresh air and I'll hike for as long as I've got time to hike. I'll move my body, and if I'm not doing that, I'll go to the gym and I'll lift some weights, because I know, again, that is going to flood my body with endorphins, and it's going to change the way I feel. And I'll keep doing all these things through the day, and I'll force myself to make good choices. I've just been shopping to the supermarket, you know, and it would have been really easy, me not feeling a bit out of sorts, to buy a load of sweet, shitty junk food. But I forced myself to make the right choices and buy some nutritious, simple, easy to produce food, which I know is going to nourish me and give me long-lasting energy and not give me these sugar highs and lows which will affect my mood. So there you go. There's a few tips for you. You know, it takes discipline, of course it does, and focus. But you know, life's like that. You can't just sit back and wallow in these feelings, because they will spiral down, they will get worse, and then they lead to some horrendous places. So force yourself to do this stuff. You don't have to do it all. Even just one or two of those things will change the way you feel. So good luck, and Happy New Year to you. Happy 2023. I hope it's an amazing year for you, and I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Much love to you all. Please subscribe to the channel if you get a chance. Carpe diem, seize the day today, change the way you feel and change your life.